all right, show me the brown eye. So I show him and he goes, make it wink. And I was like, huh?
Yeah, you might be like a totally different person the next time we're around you. We'd be like, oh my gosh, you're so responsible now.
Yeah. I should have just yelled more. That's all.
Yeah. Welcome back to another episode of Trash is Full. We are your hosts, Jackie and Wes. This week's episode, we are joined by our second oldest son, Chris, who recently graduated high school and also recently decided to enlist in the United States Army. Hooah.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Hoorah?
Hoorah, hoorah.
Hoorah.
They say it like hoorah.
Oh, yeah, I can't do all that.
Hoorah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta have a deep voice. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just kidding.
So, Chris, I feel like you have wanted to join the Army for a while.
Yes.
Like, I feel like it was probably fifth grade where you were like, you decided like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah. It wasn't Army specifically, but it was definitely like I was like, you are a huge role model for me for just the whole shebang.
Yeah.
And I was like, he turned out super well.
Daddy made it look so
with,
easy.
Like, just well, no, like it, because like, freaking like 3 kids, house with the
Okay,
cars,
yeah.
like everything.
It's
was-
logical.
Yeah, everything's going good, and so I'm thinking, if it went good for him, I feel like.
Yeah. If this idiot could do
Yeah.
it.
I don't have to go to college.
Yeah. Right.
But no, yeah. And so basically, I was just thinking, like, this sounds like a good game plan, and pretty much was like, I know this is gonna make me sound bad, but I was like, I don't have to like try super hard anymore
Well, that's
for like
That's being
specific
honest.
schooling.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's like I don't need to take honors classes.
Yeah.
I don't want to waste my time with that.
you don't need to get straight A's to join the military.
I don't need it.
You're not going. Your mind wasn't like, I need to get good grades, AP classes, college credits, so I can get into college.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, I'm not doing that.
Because they pay for college.
Yes, they do. They pay for mine.
I'm just like probably during my my AIT training, I'll be doing something online.
I'm going to say you're not. I thought the same thing. So AIT, for those who don't know, is your schooling after basic military training.
What did we say? We had to look it up. It's like advanced individual training.
I think so.
I forget what the A is for, but I know it's individual training.
Well,
I'm pretty sure it's like advanced.
We'll put it on the screen,
Yeah.
whatever it is. And each branch calls it something different, or at least the Air Force called it something. They called it tech school. But it's essentially like whatever job you're going to be doing in the military, they are going to spend time training you on how to do that job before they go send you to wherever you're going. And so I remember talking to my recruiter and I was like, how soon can I start using like the GI Bill? And I was like, because when I'm in tech school, I'm going to be taking classes. I'm going to get that knocked out. And he's like, oh, he's like, no, you're not. He's like, I mean, you could. He's like, but tech school is no joke. Like you need, especially you're going into the intel, like you are going to need to know everything that they're going to teach you. And it's not going to be super duper easy. So I would recommend not doing school right away.
Oh, for a while.
Yeah.
I would just hold off, kind of get your footing, see where you land, and then once you feel like, okay, I've got some extra time, or hey, this is really what I want to pursue outside of the military, let me get some extra courses in or something. Yeah. But I'd just wait. There's no rush.
Deployments are the best time for me to do it.
True.
Because, and I mean, you're not married with kids or anything yet, but being deployed, you had your job, and then you could work out, and then you're like, what else do I do?
Go to the pool,
Yeah.
work on your
Yeah,
tan.
you could just eat or sleep. So that was a good time for me to. But yeah, I would definitely recommend taking your AIT as serious as possible,
Uh-huh.
and then getting to wherever your first duty station is going to be, figuring out the base, figuring out the job, figuring out where you're going to live, like all that.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mom said, get your footing, and then look into.
And then maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, on the same token, like, do you know what you would want to study? Like, is there anything that's calling you, like, outside the military?
Not really.
Yeah. So I wouldn't start school
Yeah,
yet.
not-
Yeah.
None of
Yeah,
the
Like I
moment.
said, don't rush it just because it's there. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So 5th grade, you were like, want to join the military.
Mm-hmm.
What made you decide? Like, because I know even back then, I think you were kind of leaning towards Army. So I know it was like
Possibly.
Army or Marines, right? You were kind of.
One or the other. I wanted something to do quickly. Like just to get into it and like just get not get out of here or something like that, but just, kind of start living, know. And I was being super dumb about it too. Like just the mentality of it. I was thinking like, oh, I'm going to do something with guns because that sounds cool.
Yeah, I
And,
remember
yeah.
you were like, I'm going to do infantry. And I'm like, as a mom,
Yeah, and
you're just like,
like
please don't. Please.
please don't get shot.
Like, because the war was still going on. Like, I know things like we've gotten out of Afghanistan and those places, but back then, like, that was still a big deal.
Yeah.
And you definitely don't want your son to have to get into that if
Not that
there's
there's
other options.
Not that there's anything wrong with infantry. It's super
No,
necessary.
We need people. Yeah.
definitely.
But I don't think not everyone realizes that you can get almost any job in the military that you can get on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
You could be a chef. You can, I mean, like you can be a bus driver. You can have almost any job that exists on the outside, and some that don't exist on the outside. But people are like, military, infantry, that's what I'm gonna do. So when you were really gung ho about being in the infantry, it made me think that you were just like, I don't know, that sounds easy. I'm just gonna do
Right.
that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there wasn't any purpose. That was the only thing where I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know if you should join the military. Like, and then you're like, well, I'll be a cop. And like, that's where you were kind of leaning to, which would, again, very noble, very necessary. There's always going to be a job for you.
For sure.
But again, it was just like, well, I don't really want to think too much about it. I would just want to get this over with. So let's go. I know a cop exists. Let's go do that. Like is that how your mom was thinking? Or did you have some other calling to be in the police?
It was more of a thing where it's like, well, I'll get some good experience in this, and then I can do it in the civilian field.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize until I was informed by my recruiter that doesn't work for MPs. Like,
really?
yeah, it's apparently kind of hard to.
So if you're a military police officer in the military and then you get out, it's hard to transition to a police officer in
basically,
like, on the outside?
you can do it, you just won't be at the same
You start over.
Yeah, basically, you have to go like 100% all through the same stuff that you already know. And I was like, that sucks.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
And I mean, it's one of those public servants that have
Yeah,
a really,
pay
really
as
hard time.
shit.
You get paid nothing.
Pay as shit and you're risking your life every single day.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah.
And so then
I was like, please don't do that.
yeah,
Yeah, I know. Same
yeah.
thing. Like,
Yeah, I'm like, you're actually qualified for a lot of other really good stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, like what? And then I found out that I was, I had enough of a score for the intelligence stuff. I was like, that sounds really cool. What do you do? Like, take pictures of maps with satellites and inform people of like what's on it and stuff. It's fun.
Yeah. I got really excited when you started talking intel. 'Cause that's where I came from. So it's
Yeah,
like-
yeah.
because I know what it looks like on the outside too. And so when I was in the military and I was thinking about getting out, man, I'm going to have to get out and I'm going to have to go into like either the contracting or the government side.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I bet everyone's really smart and like hardworking. Like I bet it's really, really tough. And then I get in there and like you're in government buildings and people are dressed like slobs and they don't show up to work half time and then they don't really give a shit about. I was like, are you kidding me? Like this is what I was worried about the whole time. Like maybe it's changed, but I feel, and maybe this is every industry now that I've bounced around to a few of them.
Mm.
But it's like, if you just show up, just be where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be there, and you stay focused and do actual work, like you are ahead of
You're
90% of
winning.
people. They're like, how? Man, this guy's amazing. I'm
Yeah.
like, I literally just showed up
Like,
on
you're
time.
supposed to be here right
And
now.
I'm not fucking off on my
yeah,
phone.
I'm doing what I'm supposed to be
Yeah.
doing and doing my job.
Yeah.
And like,
crazy.
when you said like, oh, they're dressed up like slobs and they're doing all that, and I'm like, I was thinking, I was like, that's Air Force. What is the Army place like?
No, I'm talking about when I got out and I got into
Oh my
the
God.
government side.
Uh-huh.
And some people, you know, were in the military and some people weren't. But I thought it was just going to be like a bunch of studs that are, you know, just fucking Rambos
Mm-hmm.
that are really smart and just savages. Because that's, I don't know, for whatever reason, that
Well,
was
I
in my
think-
head.
Yeah. Well, I think like the movies make it seem
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. You know what I mean? It's
Super
kinda
like,
yeah.
we're the intelligence. We're super smart and know everything that we're doing. And it's like real life military is like, you know, monitor 6 is not working.
It's
What's
just
going on?
the same problem. I mean, because it's people. So you still have the same problems inside the military that you do in the civilian sector.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm glad you're not doing infantry.
Doing goofy, dumb stuff anymore.
policing that
Well, it's not
makes
dumb. It's just-
mama. No,
Yeah.
it's
I zero
not only is it safe, but
Mhm.
also I feel like it'll really benefit you
outside.
like later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm zero drive for anything actually meaningful in those things.
Yeah.
Easy.
You can still be put in positions overseas that are dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because the information that you're providing
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
is
valuable.
used by the people outside the wire. So you're going to be shoulder to shoulder with them. You just might not be outside the wire with them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So we're talking with FBI. It was during MEPS. It was really neat to like, all right, so we're doing your fingerprints now. We're going to go over to this other station and get your fingerprints to the FBI now. Oh, I get to do cool stuff.
Yeah. All right. So for those people that don't know, what is MEPS? MEPS. What is that? Well, not the
I have
acronym,
no
but I just
clue
mean
what it
like
stands
what is it? Like what? It's like medical, probably something.
Military,
So
something.
yeah. So when I really, what it seems like it's so when I went there
Mm-hmm.
and when I'm going there on Monday, or no, Tuesday, sorry, I went and got my physical done, which is kind of extensive for physicals.
So
and,
it's not your normal, like when you go to the doctor
is
physical.
your
Would you say it's
grandma's
more,
physical.
yeah. Would you say it's more like intense, invasive?
I had to get naked. Like, yeah, it's intense.
But I feel like that's part of a physical sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Like, I know for me,
the-
like
the most-
they
We
kind of
spent most of our time. We spent most of our time in our underwear when I went. And
Yeah,
then you
no,
had
no.
to get naked for a certain
Yeah.
part.
Okay.
Yeah, like that. But, you know, I mean, it just took a while.
Yeah, it's a lot of waiting.
Most boring day of my life. Yeah, just a whole bunch of waiting. I remember like
So a really intense physical.
pretty intense.
Okay.
You know, like just sight. All right, immediately go to the hearing place. All right, now you're done with that. Go to the where you're gonna get your blood drawn. Now go into the checkup place. Do the stupid duck walk. They told us to practice that in the hotel room. I forgot to because I went to sleep at like 8:30.
It's not hard. And then
No, yeah, it wasn't hard. I was just like so anxious because like it was just step after step after step. Like
What the hell is a duck walk? Why don't I know what
you
this
you
is?
you walk on the balls of your feet, crouch down, and you have and
What are the balls of my feet?
Your
Not my
heels.
heel.
Your
Wait,
yeah.
it is my heel?
No, you're not on your tippy toe. You're on the balls of your feet.
Where
are
my
like
toes are.
right where your metatarsals meet your joint.
Oh, okay.
yeah, and like they kept saying like
Do I stand up? Do
Yeah,
I
you're crouched down
yeah,
and you're walking.
crouched down and you're
All right,
walking.
we're gonna
and,
have to try. I'm gonna
And-
try it
and-
after this.
and they kept
See if I can do it.
kept saying like don't bounce, and I'm like I'm
Oh,
not.
because you're like,
yeah, I'm really
The
trying
same
not to.
thing. We're really just testing all your joints.
Yeah,
Kind of
basically.
at the same
oh,
time.
Wait.
maybe I don't want to do this.
They,
You
they
do
made
not
you
need-
they made you like stretch up, stretch down, like do like squat, like a whole bunch of stuff. It was it was
Okay.
They check your hole.
they did, yes.
How did walk me through that? Because I had a really funny experience.
Walk me through checking your hole.
Basically, at the part where they were like checking my jungle,
Your groin.
my groin,
Yeah.
yes. And then they were like
Fucking balls.
yes. And then they were like, all right, pull your underwear down. And I was like, okay. And then I said, like, bend over
Cough.
no, I had to do that. I did have to do that. No. I didn't cough. They didn't say, she didn't say to cough.
Go clear your throat. Is that
no,
it now?
no. They said, squeeze your stomach like you're constipated. And I was like,
That's the same thing as what a cough does. Trying to push your poop out.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that.
Trying to push a baby.
Yeah,
out.
and they said like, and
Yeah,
they
it's the
said,
same thing.
bend over at the waist, and I was like, okay, and they said, you could spread your butt cheeks apart, okay, and they're like, all right, good, and they said, all right, put your back up, get dressed, and get out.
So I had
Get the
this.
hell out of
I
here.
had this old man. He's probably been there for 50 years.
Mm.
And you do the duck walk or whatever, and then he just went ahead and like, as you finished the duck walk, because we were in our underwear for that, he just had you do it there, like, and he goes, "All right, show me the brown eye." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Oh."
Like my eyes
Oh.
are blue.
And then, and I was like, "What?" I was like, "Oh." And then I did it. He
Did
goes,
you laugh?
"No," because like,
You're just like, this is like a serious
yeah,
situation.
you're like, "I'm going to the military. This is
Yeah,
serious."
you're like,
I'm like, "What?" Okay. And then
okay, sir.
so I show him, and he goes, "Make it wink," and I was like, "Huh? Oh, okay, got it." And he was like, "All right, it's good."
Make it wink.
Okay, I'm not gonna ask.
I'm the brown
I
eye.
don't know. So gross.
Yeah, I was like, "Cool."
The oldest person I saw at the MEPS place was the guy handing out food.
Yeah.
Handing out food.
Yeah, we had to eat.
Oh, they fed you there?
Yes.
They give you like a box lunch.
Oh, that's
That's what
nice.
they gave us.
Oh no! For us, we got we had to sign in, wash our like use hand sanitizer, and then we got choice of chips, sandwich, and a drink or dessert. I just picked a water, like a ham and cheese sandwich.
Yeah.
It was this like tiny sub thing, but it was enough. And banana muffins. Were very good.
Otis Spunkmeyer.
I believe so.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Shout out to Otis.
Yeah. Oh, it's good. All right. So MEPS, and then everything is good. And then after that,
And then I waited until like what time did you pick me up?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I know it had to have been after 12. It was probably around like 2:30.
Yeah. Because you like spent the night there and like,
Yeah.
then you came back, right?
Well, so after everything at the MEPS place was done, they told me to go get my stuff. After they handed me all the sick merch.
Yeah.
And then I waited for the lady with the shuttle to come in, and this was probably at like 1:30 after I swore in. And then we drove back to the recruiting place, and they basically like welcomed me back, gave me some stuff, and waited for someone to
That's right.
come and get me.
The swearing in
Yeah.
ceremony, which is funny because when you did it, we got to like be there. I remember we were there.
Oh,
it was
man.
like me, your mom, your brother.
But you had to
like-
drive like 2 hours.
Did we? See,
Yeah.
I don't remember that part. I just remember being there. I think I still have like pictures.
Mine was in Mechanicsburg, maybe?
Yeah, I have
In
no
Pennsylvania?
idea. I don't remember.
So, I mean, you had to
driving there.
drive quite a ways to get there.
Yeah. And then, of course, now Chris's was on Facebook,
Yep.
like
Yeah.
live stream. I'm
Yeah.
like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
The
I
guy,
get to watch
Well, they
it.
didn't have Facebook back then.
I know.
the guy I did it with, he was super cool.
Yeah, it was just you two in the room.
Yeah, it was just yeah.
Just you two swearing in, right?
Yeah, because we were the only two that were like done.
Like ready to get ready. Yeah.
Yeah. He was super cool.
Did you say he was an older gentleman?
Yeah, he was probably around like
Was he like re-enlisting?
no, first time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't go to MEPS to re-enlist.
I thought you do.
No.
Well, there was
I
one.
re-enlisted. I didn't go to MEPS
But
again.
I mean, like, if you wanted to go back in, like, what's that called?
There was
Oh, I
when you
see.
get out and then you
In
get
prior
back in?
service.
Yeah.
coming
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
there was one guy who was also doing intelligence. He'd been out like for so long that like they required him to do like a basic checkup before they could like give him anything.
Yeah.
You know, he was there. all the people I met like at the hotel and like throughout MEPS process, they were all super cool guys, just from everywhere, basically.
That's what you'll get as you start meeting people. One thing I'll recommend. So Intel is kind of funny because it's really, I think people think that they're really good. Like people in intelligence must have done really, really good in school, right? And it's not the case. A lot of my friends were just super smart and we had all dropped out of college. So we had the capacity to go. We were like, I don't like this. And there was still, like during my training, on a lot of the classes, a 50% or higher fail rate.
Oh man,
That shit's crazy, right? So when you get there, I would ask questions like, what's the fail rate? I wouldn't ask the instructors because they're like, what are you going to fail? But I asked the people that are in there, before you. Because, I mean, if you started with 20, you ended with 10. I mean, it's crazy. And these are like really smart people. And when you fail out of your tech school,
of the job that you're supposed to
you may
go in with.
You may get one or two choices. Like for the people who failed out for us, they either had to go be a cop or a helicopter mechanic for whatever reason. At that time, those were the two options.
Okay.
And then some people just opted to drop out.
Can you do that? Can you then be like, okay, well, I don't want to be in the military then if I can't do this job?
I don't know.
I feel like you can't.
Yeah, you signed up for 4 years.
Yeah, you have a full
You went
contract.
through
you
basic
have
training.
To do.
Yeah.
But they just disappeared. We didn't see them. Like,
Never to be
Who
heard
knows
from
what
again.
happened?
well, I take that back. On deployments, you'd occasionally run into some and be like, oh shit, I haven't seen you since basic training. It's been 10 years. Like, that's pretty cool. But yeah, there's a lot riding on you completing tech school. And you're going to get into, it's all going to be new, right? But eventually it's just going to be another day. You know what I mean? You've got the routines, the lay of the land, what time you got to leave your dorm room to get to the classroom. Like all of it starts becoming, and then people around you will start to become less intense. And that will make you think you should kind of dial back your efforts. But that's when you should really dig in. Because you only get one shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I recommend taking it as serious as possible.
I know you will. Yeah, I know you
I
will.
mean,
Yeah. And you're going to be gone. What, basic is 10 weeks? And then you're gone
Basic is
for
10
another
weeks.
6 months after that?
yeah, 24 weeks for AIT training.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. So
Mom will never see you again.
basically the first year of my 3-4 year contract is training.
Yeah. I was in training for 2 years.
You were. Yeah.
How long was your first?
6 years.
6 years.
He signed up for 6.
I signed up for 6, yeah.
Yeah.
And then another 4 after that.
So let's talk about that, because that was kind of interesting. And I don't know how much I believe their story, but walk us through.
Don't say that.
And I don't think they had any ill intent. But I've just heard so many stories of it going like this. But
Okay.
walk me through, you told your recruiters, hey, I want this job. And then what?
So I told them that I wanted that. I fully decided on the intelligence thing. And then at the time there were 4 positions open. And so they're like, we'll try to get you one. super quick. We're just gonna need to fill out like some extra stuff for you. And by the time I got all that done, there was not one open. And then they were like, oh shit, we need to figure something out fast. And then they said that just like they like kept checking, like kept like redoing, like
refreshing
yeah,
the
yeah,
page.
yeah, refreshing the page because apparently it's super dog shit, like
Yeah.
stuff.
It's government.
Yeah, yes, government is a whole nother tier of stuff. But they said that they're they like kept refreshing it, and then all of a sudden one popped up specifically, no bonus, 3-year contract, and it was for the thing I wanted, and they were like, get that thing now.
Yeah.
Just put him in it. Don't refresh. Get him. Call butts. They do all this stuff. And then they got me in it. And I was like, oh, that sounded like hell.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it went down like that. Maybe it didn't. I don't know.
And so I don't understand. So your contract is you are signed up for 3 years, 3.5.
3 or 4. I don't exactly remember. 3?
It's 36 months.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So I guess my thing is like, why is that? I've always been under the impression, like even when they said, okay, 6 years, I was like, what? So I've always been under the impression that it's like 4 years. Like that's the magic number for whatever reason. It's you sign up initially for 4 years. And then I always thought it was 4-year increments kind of after that. So did they tell you why it was only a 3-year?
Not really. That was just like the length of time that it was because they said, I don't know. You're starting to make me think through this.
You're trying to question them? No.
But it was a thing where it's like either someone dropped out or they failed something or they quit, whatever. Mm-hmm. And like they were done for 3 years. And either he already got a bonus or they didn't have a bonus for that one or something, but it wasn't available. And so like that is just what I got. It's first come, first serve service.
And when I was going through, you could choose, do you want a 4-year or a 6-year?
Right.
And the incentive for the 6-year was a higher bonus. And so I took the 6-year because I was like, I'm going to do 20. Who gives a shit?
And we were poor.
And we could use the money.
We needed all the money we could get.
So in talking to the recruiter, it made it seem like it was almost like pick your deal. Almost every job that they had out there, almost every job had some sort of perk. So bonus, and then, again, higher bonus for a longer period of enlistment. So if you took a 3-year, you'd only get this amount. If you took a 4-year, you get this amount. And what you were saying, the way he described it was someone had already took that slot, right? That's why there were none left when they went to look for you. The reason that one came available is because something happened with that person.
Yeah, they didn't really qualify.
They either qualified or quit or something.
Okay.
And so they were explaining, and I don't know if it's true, maybe it is, but once a job is accepted, if it comes back on the table, none of the perks come with it. It's bare bones in terms of like job and years of service. And so that's why there was no, and I think they could have said, okay, that job's available. We're going to put in, we'll try to do a 4-year, but he was like, he won't get his re-enlistment bonus until he waits the 4 years. So let's just do it for a 3. You know what I mean? That sort of thing.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. That makes sense.
I will be re-enlisting in the same thing.
You say that, but I mean, a lot can happen in those 3 years.
Like that's true.
You could end up absolutely hating it, not liking where you live, this or that. And just know that there's no pressure for you to stay in something that you're not happy with.
Yeah,
so
I'm 18.
you can always come back home, is what I'm saying.
No, you can't.
You can
No, I'm just kidding.
you can always come home.
Once you get on that bus,
yeah.
I want you to see your goddamn face here.
No.
I think you can have plans and then be open to either being like, yep, that was the right move, or nope, it's not. Like that's life.
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
that's just life in general.
Have plans, but be flexible to.
Don't let it happen to you, but be open to changing your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just life in general.
Yeah.
I was sure I was going to do 20.
Yeah.
And then
I tried to convince you to stay in.
I know.
I don't know if you know, but I wanted your dad to stay in.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Because I liked where we lived. I liked our house. I liked my job. I loved where I was teaching. Like everything was going great for me.
Yeah.
But your dad, he was deployed so much and he was miserable. And he's like, I want to get out.
Well, that's the thing. Like I wasn't miserable. I just felt like I was doing a bad job as a father because I was gone. And I thought, oh, if I just change jobs, that'll change everything. And turns out you go wherever you move. Like, you know what I mean? You as the person follows. Like all your problems come with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And that's a lesson you learn by experience.
Yes.
What, since we're on that topic, like, do you think, or like, do you and your siblings talk about, like, and like, I'm still gone a lot. Do you guys ever like mention that? Like, man, that really sucks. Or like, does that
What, that you
cross
were
your
gone a
mi-
lot? What's...
Yeah, I was gone a lot, and then I kind of still am gone a lot. Like, do you think there's any impact in our relationship,
Might
or
be a
like,
loaded question.
or your growth, or I just wonder
You'd
if
be like,
that's
we don't care that you're not here.
well, no, I mean, if the answer is no, like that'll kind of make me feel a little better, to be honest. But if I just wonder if like that's something that you guys have crossed your mind yet, or if you'll just do years later in therapy.
No. Well, I don't really hear Anna talk about it, but that's just because like she doesn't
She's
talk
kind of private.
a lot
Yeah.
at all
Yeah.
about things. But definitely, I think me and John have like talked a little bit about it. Just thinking like, oh shit, yeah, like when's Dad going back? He's like, he's gone for another like 2 weeks, and I'm like, first time hearing about this.
Yeah, you're never downstairs.
No.
I don't announce information upstairs. It's only downstairs.
I'm leaving again.
Yeah, I'm leaving next week.
I'll be back in 2 weeks.
But I don't know. Just hearing, I don't know. It's hard to describe. But I definitely, hearing how much you talk about it on the podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know. It makes me feel a little sad.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's not it's a non-issue. I don't know. Maybe because it's normal, but it'll just be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
I feel like it's impacted our relationship. Not that I couldn't do anything about it, right? I could be more intentional, and I don't know, being gone in the military just over and over so quickly, because it was short stints, 3 to 6 months here and there.
Those are not short stints. Those were actually long, like
Well,
much longer duration.
But it wasn't like
when you're away from your child for 3 months.
Right, yeah.
Especially at a young age. You know what I mean? Like
it adds up. But the turnaround, like some guys would be gone for a year and they come back and not deploy for 2 years. So that's kind of cool. And you miss a lot in a year. But I never got settled at home because I feel like that kept me from really like trying to get close to people and including my kids.
I don't know.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
But that's part of it. Like when you get in the military, if you
Start
get
a
married,
family.
if you have kids, like that's part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of why we say, if this ends up being a position where you do deploy a lot, like that will alter your decision.
Whether you re-enlist or not.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like you say, I want to do the full 20 years. And then your wife is like, I can't
Right.
do this anymore. You're gone so much.
Now
Like,
you've gotta make a
You're gone
choice.
a whole year. It's hard for me to, take care of the house and kids by myself. So hopefully your future wife is aware of this. And if she'd ever has any questions, she can always ask me because I have lots of experience in it. But definitely, yeah, hopefully she's prepared for it because it's reality.
We've talked
You got to be a strong
about this stuff.
Strong woman.
And as far as I can tell, I don't think this position requires me to deploy. I might.
They all do, don't they?
No, they don't all, but I definitely had people in the job that you're doing deployed with me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Were they also airborne?
No.
Oh.
No. These were ground folks. These were support staff.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, we need this information. Can you get it?
Mm-hmm.
Or they'd be like, hey, you're going here. You need this information. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they were on the ground. They briefed us. They debriefed us. But they were deployed. They just didn't fly and they didn't go outside the wire.
Right. And I mean, remember, a war was going on then.
Yes.
So deployments were more frequent, more necessary. Who knows right now? I have no idea. Like what kind of intel they need on who.
Yeah.
So.
Once the big man pushes that big red button in Moscow.
But to your point, I had friends who did your job and they didn't deploy. So I don't know.
Yeah, just luck of the draw, really.
It's all up to chance.
Yeah.
Whether
Your dad had really bad luck.
Why?
I don't know. I just felt like everything went wrong for you.
That's
Like
How so?
just like looking at your experience compared to other people who had the same or similar job, I felt like you always got like the short end.
There was always a way out of a deployment. I would just never take
You
those
never
things.
took it.
I would just not do those. And sometimes I'd be like,
That's right. Because wouldn't people like purposely get sick or injured or something so they
my
didn't have
God.
to? I'm
Well, they'd
serious,
be
right?
they'd be like, oh, my tooth hurts. And, you know what I mean?
Like, oh man, you can't go. Yes, right? There was.
Or things would just come up that would just not allow them to go.
Even though they really wanted to.
Not saying that they really wanted to, but it's not like I didn't feel like they were trying to get out of it. And then we were just kind of short staffed there for a while.
Yeah,
because we were sending more of us
into
where we were going. And then like
it was just a constant rotation.
As I started, gaining rank and doing different things on the platform that I was on, there's fewer of us that can do that.
Yeah.
And so now we're sending, we need
now
more.
You really need it out there and you're going to spend lots more.
We miss the sand.
I don't know. It was awesome.
It was awesome being
And he got out. So awesome he decided to leave.
Look, man, hindsight.
Yeah.
2020,
I don't know. Just listen to me.
Well, I've learned that
I'm
now.
right about some things.
I know. I do now.
Okay.
But it took me a long, long time because I thought I was the smartest
Yeah.
and I knew better. I'm like, what do you know?
I know a lot.
But now I do. You don't draw many lines in the sand. And so when you do, I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
this is a good one. I should listen.
Yeah. So Chris, it's going to be very different when you leave.
in a good way.
We're all going to feel it. We're all going to be impacted by it. No, it's not going to be in a good way. So when the FBI person came to interview me about you, like she was like, oh, is this the first kiddo that's leaving the nest? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, you got to give it 6 months. And
What
I
does
was
that
like,
mean?
6 months to be okay with them not being there. Like, okay, like this is our new normal now.
It doesn't become normal for
6 months. And I was like, oh shit. All right. That's a long time to wait.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We think about it too. So Chris is leaving this week. And then John's graduating in what, a year?
He'll be here
Year
for a
and a
while.
half?
I'm not worried about him going anywhere.
But it could line up to where, he lands a job after college and now he's got to go. And then Anna graduates. Like it could be like in 3 years, they're all gone. Like,
Well, okay. So the biggest difference for me is Chris is going to be out of the state. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he's not going to be next
Local.
door down the road. You know what I mean? Where I can see him and talk to him every day and check in on him, be like, hey, how's it going? Do you need anything? Like, he's going to be halfway across the country, all the way across the country
Yeah.
for months.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to.
You're not going to be able to see him. I can FaceTime him and all that stuff, but that's not the same. And
You have a whole 10 weeks before you can even do
and
that.
that too. And I got to wait almost 3 months to be able to talk to him and make sure he's okay.
Mm-hmm.
He's okay.
So,
I promise.
Yeah, I'll be all right.
so, I mean, my sleep is it's going to be rough.
Yeah. Yeah, it will.
It's going to be rough. And so we've got the two littles, and I'm trying to prepare them for Chris's departure.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because they don't get it.
They don't understand it.
And I was talking to the 3-year-old. I was trying to tell her, okay, Chris is gonna, he's joining the army. He's gonna, and she said, I don't know if I told you. I think I told Chris. She was like, he's not gonna be part of our family anymore.
Yeah, she did say that. Uh-huh.
I know, she just didn't get it. Like, he's leaving. He's not gonna be he's not part of our. She thought she was never gonna see him again,
We'll see him
right? But I mean, for a 3-year-old,
kind of.
that's
Yeah.
a long time to wait.
That's
so
forever.
hopefully
Yeah.
we will get to do the FaceTime and all that stuff so that she can see that you're still part of the family, you're still alive and here, and yeah. And then the 2-year-old, she
doesn't
she's
understand English.
Worried about catching ladybugs and
Yeah.
eating fruit snacks off of a brush.
Yeah. It's a weirdo, man.
I love it.
Yeah, I do too.
That's a whole nother thing.
It's
but
another me. My
I
presence is
know.
still in this
Just a
house.
goof.
The weird
Yeah.
ones are the best ones. They're so interesting.
So
But yeah.
let's talk basic training.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
So what do you envision?
I envision it being hell for the first
Hell week.
2 weeks. And then it starting to not die down, but it basically starting to become routine-esque. Just like, okay, he screamed in my face this morning again. I got that part. Then we do information stuff. Got that down. I eat. Got that down. Some kind of bullshit ruck march. Got that down.
So initially it's kind of like shock ya.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
just all new. There's people you don't know, and
it's
they're yelling
all
at you.
information basically, like teaching you how to march, teaching you how to make your bed properly, teaching you how to keep your shit clean, like all that stuff. For like the first, I don't know, 1-2 weeks. That's what it said.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you start a job at a new company and you go and you get like an orientation and it takes you a little bit. You kind of know the rules, you kind of don't. Like as soon as you're off the bus, they're letting you know this shit is real.
Yep.
And here are the rules, and I'm not going to tell you them. I'm just going to scream at you while you do the wrong thing until you figure out what the right thing is. And, that's pretty much
That
it.
does not sound like it's for
Yeah.
me.
The first night is hilarious.
Why? You hear
It's-
people crying?
It's either
Probably, yeah, you'd think.
yeah, definitely heard people crying, but
I might.
just
Oh,
the
see, I hate that.
just the stupid shit of so you bring a bag, right, with your personal stuff in it, and then there are things you're allowed to keep and there are things that you're not allowed to keep, and there are things that you got to put back in your bag right away, and then there are things that you leave on your bed so that they can check, and then you put back in your bag, and then there are things you leave on your bed so that they can check, and then you put in your locker, and everyone is just screaming like the whole time, and you're like, fuck, I don't remember what I'm supposed to do with this item.
It's basically you're going to fuck up.
Well, I think
Yeah, it's supposed to.
regardless, even if you do it right, they'll find.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
They break you,
Well, it's
and
just
they
it's chaos, and
on purpose.
and they're letting you know that you don't know anything. You can't even figure out where to put your underwear. You stupid shit. You better listen to me,
Right.
or I'm gonna make this painful. And that was just a lot of fun. And because I don't know how it is in the Army, but in the Air Force, you have a reporting statement while you're in basic training. So any time before you speak, you have to say this certain phrase and you have to do it perfectly. You can't like kind of get it right. And they will yell at you until you get it right.
And then you can't hear yourself talk.
Luckily, I practiced.
Or think.
Yeah, luckily my recruiter like told me, hey, this is the reporting statement. I would practice this before you go. For the folks that had to learn it there, like where you put the word sir and how you say, is it trainee or is it recruit or is it like people just couldn't get it. And then when people are yelling at you, now you're all flustered and then you're like, shit, I forgot what I was even going to say. And then that's why you can't remember. Was I supposed to put the sock back in the bag or in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just a lot of fun that first couple days. Yeah. Oh yeah. And I didn't shit for like 7 days. So just a heads up. That's the thing. Other people are in the same boat. Because they're just
I feel like that's
shocked.
normal. It's a safety thing. It's not safe to poop yet. Keep it in. It's not safe.
Don't make yourself vulnerable.
Eventually I like kind of started getting comfortable, day 5, and I'm like,
Something bubbling.
I'm like, no, I actually had time to like take stock and kind of reflect on what's been going on. And I was like, I haven't shit yet. I was like, hey, have you shit yet? And they're like, no. Like, you like don't think about it
Everybody
until
else is
man.
like, yeah.
and some guys are like, yeah, I do it like twice a day. And I'm like,
It's like you're gross.
and so like day 7, I'm like, man, I still haven't. That night, I'm in bed and my stomach just locks up and it's excruciating pain. I'm like, oh. And then we still had other flights that are like further along in training. They'll be in your dorms, like posting guard, basically. And they're like, hey, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, oh. And he goes, what's wrong? And I was like, my stomach. He's like, have you shit yet? And I was like, no. He's like, go. Like he knew. He's like, that's what it is. And I went and I was like, oh, that's all.
Oh my
7 days shit build up.
It's crazy, right?
Oh God.
Can we talk about the phone call from Basic?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's talk about it.
So I'm going to share yours that you
okay.
called me, or like what that was like.
You share what you heard and I'll share what I
And
was
then
going through.
and then I want Chris to share what his recruiter told him
Yes.
to do. So I remember it must have been during the week because
like day
you had
3.
called my work and you had left a voicemail. I'm not sure why you didn't call my cell phone.
Because I thought it was during the week, but it was the weekend. And so I called your work phone because I thought you were going to be at work.
But I think it was like too early, or like, I don't know, the
I think it
time
was a
zone
Sunday
or
or some
something.
shit.
Okay, maybe. I don't know. But you ended up, you called my work and you left the voicemail on my work phone, right? So this is, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm having to listen to this message from my husband, who I haven't, I'm worried about you because you're gone. And I'm just like, what's happening and what's he going through? And so I listened to this message. And you sound like you're on the verge of tears.
Yeah, I
You
was.
might be crying a little bit. I mean,
I was holding back tears.
you sound so like just defeated. And I had to listen to that, right? And I'm at work. And so I'm like holding back tears. I'm like, oh my God, what the hell?
I would have preferred not to call.
Holy shit, okay. And then like I had to just keep listening to it, as much as I could because I hadn't heard your voice. So it was just kind of devastating. I wish. And basically the message is what you can only state certain things, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like
you are
like
reading
you can,
off of a script.
Yeah,
you get
it's not
along.
like you can call and be like, "Hey, I miss you."
Well, that's why it fucked me up because I wanted to have.
You wanted to say those things.
I would rather talk to you instead of be like, my address.
You can write me a letter here.
Yeah, I would prefer not to call. And then I was kind of relieved that I didn't get you, to be honest.
Because you would have.
I
I probably would have cried.
if I would have
and
heard your
then-
voice, I would have broke down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because it's super stressful.
I'd have bawled.
Yeah.
For
A lot of
sure.
guys cried.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Chris. So share what your recruiter told you about making that phone call during basic.
So he told me that whichever one of you I call
You better call me.
should not should not answer it and should let it go to voicemail so that you can save it.
Can you believe that?
So you can save it. Remember? And you got to listen to my voice over and over again.
But I guess I understand why he says that, because it's not like I can be like, how are you? Are you okay? How's your experience? You know,
All you're going to be doing is writing down what he says, and then he's going to hang up.
yeah, it's not like we can have a conversation.
Yeah. Nope.
So I get that. But my thing is, like, I'll do that as long as that's what you want, because I don't want you to feel like I wish I would have heard my mom's voice. Or do you know what I mean? Like, in all that you're going through, like that would have comforted me
Yeah.
during this time where I'm really stressed out and overwhelmed. And if my mom would have just picked up the phone and I heard her say hello and I love you, then
No, that
I would have been okay.
that probably would have made me like stumble
Okay.
and be like,
Okay. All right. I won't answer. I'll restrain myself.
You better give that information to Jessica.
Yes. You give me her number and I can
Okay.
text it to her and then.
Yeah.
And now, like, they have this really cool app that instead of writing paper pen letters and mailing them, you can use an app and they will give them the
See,
letters.
I still don't really know how.
Well, I think you have to be there.
Yeah.
And then I think I have to have that information that you're going to give me on your
that
first
would make
call
sense.
that tells me like what squadron or group or flight or whatever all that stuff's called. Then you go to that app and you have to enter that stuff in, and then it finds you and it says, oh, here. But I think you have to be there first.
Yeah, that.
you have to be assigned to
Yes. You're not
battalion and all
assigned
that.
to
Company.
any group yet. So we just have to wait.
I was also informed that there is a or one or a couple photographers there who take pictures, and then
Really?
at the end you can buy them.
I'm so gonna buy 'em.
Specifically, like they take pictures of like everyone doing anything. I'm not sure if it's like full group pictures, but like you can like choose to have like one person.
I
singled
know
out in the
that
picture.
for you, didn't they do like
Yeah,
a
we have
little
a full-
glamour shot?
We had a full squadron picture, but there was no like individual posing or anything.
Well, what's the one picture that I have of you in your
Oh,
dress
yeah.
blues?
So that's
they
your blues.
do that. Yeah, so they do, like I said, a little glamour shot.
Yeah. That's,
Is that a basic?
yeah.
Okay, so then I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
buy
get
those.
one.
Yeah, I'm buying those.
And it's funny because like it wasn't even, you're not in your, at least we weren't in our full dress
Well, yeah,
when we
they're
did
not
that.
gonna see the bottom.
They were just like throwing this old coat. Here's a hat. And I had like a
It's like
herpy on my
graduation.
lip.
Yes, you
I was
did.
like,
You had a
and they're
cold
like,
sore. You looked gross.
they're like, get out of here. And I'm like,
It's like your like graduation pictures for the yearbook
Exactly.
where they make you just, everyone wears the same like top and they're like, okay, picture. No, next. Take that off. Give it to the next person.
Put this tux like fake top I'm gonna put on
dusty
you.
old coat.
yeah. Oh, and I had to wear I had my BCGs on. And
Oh God,
No,
I'm
not for
a-
the picture. You didn't have the glasses.
so not the picture that you guys.
Oh, I have
all, like,
both.
So yeah, that one,
Yeah,
the first
that
one,
The one without the jacket.
the one without the jacket, where I
Yeah.
had the cold sore, and then the BCGs.
I'm not excited to get those.
Why?
What, the pictures?
No, the BCGs.
Oh, they're sweet.
Oh, I'm sure they're nice now.
Yeah.
You should
You
look them
should-
up. You should Google them like now. That was like, 15 years ago. I'm sure the glasses that they give you at Basic are much better now.
Yeah, I think they're black now.
Oh,
they're not
nice.
that brown
They
tiger
probably
eye.
look stylish.
I don't know, man. I busted out my BCGs every once in a while. When I was when I was outside of Basic. I don't know. I think they're cool.
Mm-hmm.
They're gross.
I mean, they are, but that's
like
why
a
I like
serial
them.
killer.
Yeah. Yeah.
my
Like
God.
Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm serious.
Jesus.
Dude, scary. Especially with his eyes
got
and
all
like
these-
hairs. Like,
All these,
Super like
Bodies.
exposed pictures.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. Don't look in there,
just cooking
Dad.
some meat.
Yeah.
My family gave me
This
some old
rotten-
meat.
Rotten meat.
it's just
These
meat.
bodies.
Just rotting meat. Calm down. Just want to take some pictures.
Yeah. I'm excited for you, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited. We're going to miss you like crazy, but I know this is part of life and you can't live at home for forever. So
No, you need this. You need someone to make you bathe every day and put your shit away, and like it'll be good for you.
It's
you might be like a totally different person the next time we're around you. We'd be like, oh my gosh, you're so responsible now.
Yeah. I should have just yelled more. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's an old cliche, and I know I've shared it with you guys, but you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. Just every once in a while, take stock of the circle that you're in. And remember, you're the average. You're not the best.
dumber, dumbest.
Like,
Shit.
and it's not even about like intelligence level, but what are the goals of the people you're hanging out with? Like, are they just a bunch of bums that, drink and smoke all day, or are they driven? Like, I want to accomplish these things. Like, that's the people you need to hang out with, and it makes a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, just in life in general, it's the same way in high school as it is in the outside, but you get associated with the people that you hang out with too. So every stupid thing that they do belongs to you as well because you're associated with them. So just keep that in mind.
I trust Chris. I've seen some of the people he's hung out with, and I feel like you make good choices when it comes to friends.
I just know for a fact I'm not going to be hanging out with people who smoke. That shit is
Oh, why
gross. That shit is gross, dude. Do I want to be smelling that like?
What if they vape?
Well, everyone
like that's
vapes
the
now.
thing now.
Yeah, everyone vapes
What
now.
if they
I'm
vape?
gonna do this. Get that blueberry shit in my mouth.
Like a nice menthol.
Oh my god!
Like it's fine if you do it, but like don't.
Well,
Yeah.
no.
Was that smell like?
Shouldn't be doing that.
The smell like?
No. All right, man. That was fun.
Yeah. Thanks
Yeah.
for joining
Yeah, of
us.
course.
This
Yeah.
was great. We'll be able to look back and listen to this forever.
Yeah, we will.
I swear, if someone there calls me Connolly,
They will.
I'm gonna lose it. Connolly.
Conley.
Yeah.
Someone did
Connolly.
that for the longest time at, like the old school,
Yeah.
and I was like, that's not my name.
Yeah, I know. People don't care.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
It's not even spelled
No, it's not.
Conley.
All right. That's a wrap.
All right.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us for another episode.